You're saving for retirement and Bitcoin has dropped heavily. And you're a little nervous. What's going on? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whenever you are. Thank you for watching this video. My name is Davinci Jeremy. I'm in the pipe 5x5 here in Dubai, doing well. I hope you are wherever you are in this world. This correction in Bitcoin has got a lot of people nervous, and I understand. Bitcoin still, is not going to go to zero. And it's still an asset that people are buying. In fact, you can see that the whales are buying, they're buying the dips. They can only buy on the down market. So they forced this down market liquidation. They got everybody hyped and then wiped us all out, right? So not the people who are actually saving long term, of course, right? If you're saving long term and if you are planning to hold Bitcoin for the long run, like I am, my friends are, you have a core holdings that you're never going to sell, that you're going to hold for the long term. Yes, you'll have a portion that you're going to sell to buy some Lambos and Ferraris and houses and stuff like that. But you should always have a portion of Bitcoin just tucked away, that it doesn't matter what the situation is. You're on the streets, you're begging for help, you're never selling those Bitcoins. That's it. If you have that core holdings, you can retire wealthy. This is what you need. Now, there might be the question of, hey, you know what? I don't know if this Bitcoin thing's going to work. Bitcoin's too expensive. No, it's not. No, it's not. Here, I have Satoshis for you. You can actually buy Satoshis. If you got $10, you can get almost 11,000 Satoshis. Just like that. And it's still Bitcoin. Backed with Bitcoin on the blockchain, right? You're only taking technical risk, which Bitcoin is. So really, there's no other risk to do so, right? Because I don't actually hold those Satoshis. You do, right? You do through the smart contract. Okay, with that said, right? Bitcoin's cheap. All right. Now, Bitcoin, right, is the asset you want to hold. There's plenty of reasons why, and many people just don't want to do the work that's involved, and that's okay, right? You don't have to do the work. You can try to, make it rich by buying a meme coin. You could try to make it rich by timing some sort of market. You could try to make it rich by, being a doctor, being a lawyer. Those are all well and good, but if you do make it rich with any other thing, where will you store your wealth? Will you store it in dollars? Will you store it on the stock market? Would you store it in bonds? There's plenty of options to store your wealth. You can store it in watches, right? Expensive watches. You can store it in artwork, right? However, which asset is the best asset to do that? Which asset will take you to the long run and make you wealthy in the future? Because, well, Bitcoin will do that asset because it is limited in supply, it's fixed in supply. It's fungible, meaning that unlike artwork or your watches, right, it's not based on somebody's subjective value. It's durable. It's going to last the ages because we could transfer it to anyone on the planet instantly. And finally, right, for the first time ever, right, people will say, well, you can't take it with you. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can die with your Bitcoin and no one else will be able to touch it ever. And you're like, maybe you look at this and go, oh my God, this is horrible. We're going to run out of Bitcoin. It's divisible. It's a digital asset, right? It's divisible infinitesimally. So we'll never run out of Bitcoin. The whole economy could run off of one Bitcoin. It doesn't really matter. If Michael Saylor dies with all his Bitcoin and no one could actually take a hold of it, that's better for us, right? It doesn't matter, right? It will not have any kind of detrimental effect. This is what the Keynesians, money printing people will tell you, right? Because they benefit from being able to print money and steal your wealth. So obviously they're going to tell you it's horrible. It's horrible to actually have a money system that's fixed in supply. Well, it's not horrible if you work hard and you save. Now, is it? Is it? No, it's the best thing ever. Because you know how much there is out there. And you know that without you giving it to somebody, they can never get it. And this is what's happening to Bitcoin right now. A lot of the wealthy people understand they can't get Bitcoin unless you sell it to them. Period. So the weak paper hands, the people who just come in for the quick profits, they're selling now into the hands of the people who are going to hold long term. We're going to talk about that in the live stream. So make sure you watch the live stream today, because there's going to be some more discussion about how the wealthy people are holding on to Bitcoin with both hands as you sell into the market. We're going to talk about how basically they don't care that this is not the lowest price. Only you do. Only you. And that's your mistake. All right. With that said, if you're interested in learning more, right, and actually being part of something greater than yourself, you can join our school, right? I'm going to be renaming the school. It's no longer going to be Bitcoin for Beginners. It's going to be the blueprint for Bitcoin. I'm going to rename the school. Why? Because Bitcoin is not that complicated to use. The most of the work is up here, right? Most of the work is your mental attitude towards Bitcoin, because it's such a new asset. Actually using it is quite simple, right? It's easier than using your goddamn cell phone, right? It's just scary because it's all your wealth, right? So we're going to teach you how to manage your wealth in Bitcoin, right? With the blueprint for Bitcoin. Okay, I'm going to be doing something special for everybody who's interested in joining our school, right? If you're interested, hold on to something cool coming down the pipe. I'm setting it up. I'm building it right now. So once it's done, I will be announcing it. So be ready for that in the coming future. So everybody will be able to participate. Everybody will have access to this event. And so whether you've purchased a class or not, you will have access to this. All right. If you're interested in buying some Bitcoin, right? Because you know what? You should get some, right? Even if you buy an ETF, it's okay. I won't hold it against you. If you're buying Bitcoin, you can head over to x.dj15.com, where you can find different exchanges to not only buy Bitcoin, but also trade Bitcoin as well. I don't recommend trading for everybody, but if you're interested in trading, well, we're going to talk about some what's going on in the Bitcoin price right now. So Bitcoin, I know this is a lot to see, and I know because I've been drawing this out over a lot of time. And so let me just clear off some of this stuff here so that you guys are not so like, oh, what is all this? I don't understand. Okay, fine. So we're not even going to bother taking off the 200 period moving average. Damn. Wow. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this line here because I don't think we have this sloping line that badly. And then let's take a look at this line here. Oof. This downtrend. This one is definitely oof. On the daily. Ugh. Ouch. That's real. So we have a downtrend that hasn't been broken yet. If it does break, it's just going to be a dead cat bounce. But we're most likely going to see more downside for Bitcoin. A final capitulation candle that probably takes us outside of the Bollinger Band. So let me just bring the Bollinger Bands. You see, we're not outside the Bollinger Band yet. So when we're significantly outside this band, and the bands are basically for those newcomers are to a value between the mean, which Bitcoin or any asset trades within it 95% of the time. and only 5% of the time does it trade outside the band. It doesn't mean that it's, or if it trades outside the band, it's oversold. It just means that, the odds that it will stay outside of the band is significantly low, right? So with that said, we could see a massive candle straight outside the band that will probably take us to the 85-ish area, where you could actually probably, hit the buy button, but be careful, right? If you're hitting the buy, make sure you do a low leverage buy, because it could extend heavily outside the band. We don't know how far the terrified sellers could take this price action. Okay, so that's coming. A terrified situation, because we've already come like a lot down from 126,000. So it could get far worse really fast, and faster than you think. So be ready for that. Okay, let's take a look at the Bitcoin dominance. As you can see, the dominance. Wow, I'm surprised that it's actually coming down. I would expect this to go higher. Wow, I did not see that coming. Because Bitcoin, although it's down, it's not down heavily compared to some of the alts, which are wiped out. We're seeing them back to the all-time lows of the 2022. So it's kind of weird how we're like at the all-time highs. We're nowhere near the all-time lows of the 2022, as most of the alts are. And so I guess the only one that's possibly close, but it's Ethereum. But Ethereum is down more than a third when Bitcoin is not down that much, right? I mean, it's more than it's only, you could say Bitcoin is down a third, but it's like 25% right now. It's not a third, right? So it's kind of weird how we against Ethereum. And so it's kind of weird to see this. I'm wondering what asset is pushing this. And I don't think it's Zcash, honestly, but I might be wrong. But there has to be an asset that's doing extremely well and increasing in market share rapidly to push Bitcoin down like this. And I'm quite surprised, actually. I did not see this one coming. I expected Bitcoin to push higher, but it doesn't matter. Bitcoin is the asset that you want to hold. The big guys are basically holding Bitcoin for the long term, and you should do so as well, because Bitcoin, well, it's going to be the money. People are going to use it on their daily lives, regardless of how you think. If you believe something that about Bitcoin that you think it's too slow, it's this or that, whatever your beliefs are, it's wrong. And we could show it to you. We could explain it to you in the school, right? So you have to join us and learn why Bitcoin is the apex asset that you need to hold for the long term. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.